Good morning. My name is Melanie and welcome back to A Slice of Heaven Homestead. It's not too late to start seeds. I know it's a little later on in the season, but you know what? Any time is a good time to start seeds. Now I'm out here just a little bit early in the morning. We right now are living in Japan and we live in townhouses. This one's my house and that playground right there gets filled up pretty quickly. So as you can imagine, with all kids out of school and everybody at home, that gets really bustling here pretty soon. Now, anybody can start seeds. Anybody can have a garden. I do not have any growing space in the ground. I am not allowed to till up this ground because it is not mine. So all of my garden is in grow pots on a patio. You don't have to have a ton of space to grow food. And you also don't have to have very fancy equipment. I am going to be starting seeds in these waxy covered cups. With just some regular garden soil and a little bit of peat moss. Whoops. Let's get to it before my stuff blows away. Now I don't need a whole lot of soil to start these seeds. I'm going to start off with just the garden soil. That's probably more than enough for what I need here. Now this garden soil, it is a name brand one. It was just what was available to me. Normally it wouldn't really matter what the brand is. However, today I am going to be adding in a little bit of peat moss. Normally at Home Depot it comes in a giant, like 3-cube bale, I guess you would call it. This again was just what was available to me because I'm living in Japan, so I've got limited options. I am adding in some peat moss to help break up this garden soil, make it very soft for those new little seedlings that are going to be coming up. I want them to sprout their roots down deeply if they can, and they can't do that if the soil is all compacted. So this is also to retain moisture in the soil, which is another key element for sprouting seedlings. You don't want them to get dried out. Alright, the next step is to fill our little cups most of the way. I'm not going to be packing the soil down, I'm just going to be putting it in here very lightly. Actually, before we do that, I think I'm going to go ahead and poke a hole in the bottom of each of these, just so that it can have some good drainage. I'm tapping it down just very lightly. I still want all that soil in there to stay fluffy. Now I'm okay with admitting to y'all that I have a terrible time keeping track of which seeds are planted where. So I am going to go ahead and label these for each of the seeds that I'm going to plant. I'm not going to plant them very deep. I'm just going to put a very thin layer of soil over the top. Now these vining green beans, they are usually one that you would just want to plant directly into the ground. I have not had very good luck here in the area that I am living in with that, just because, well, I have no idea. I don't really know. So I am going to try and start these in the cups and then transplant them when they start to get a little bit bigger. Now the green beans do like to sprout in the warmer temperatures. I don't have the luxury of having a greenhouse here, so I have to use what I've got, and what I've got is a clear bin that I turn over, and it acts as a temporary greenhouse. That'll help to heat the soil in these little seedling cups and help these to germinate and sprout faster. I will keep them in that temporary makeshift greenhouse for a few weeks and then get them acclimated to the weather, but it helps them to have a nice little head start. All right, here is my awesome little makeshift greenhouse. And I like to say, grow with what you have. You don't need a whole lot of fancy equipment. You don't need a giant greenhouse. You don't need a huge garden to be able to grow stuff. You just need to get creative sometimes. Okay. I'll just try and gently water this. It's not the greatest watering can. Try not to upset those seeds too much. And I will water these seedlings as the soil dries out. I want to keep it fairly moist because the seedlings, they need to be fairly moist to begin with. Now you don't want to stress them out or they will not survive. Okay. And that is it, my greenhouse and my seedlings. Now as the temperatures start to get hotter, if it feels like it's getting way too hot in this greenhouse, I'll prop it open here with like a stick or something like that to give it a little bit of cooler air. But for now, the temperatures are not getting too high. They're in the 50s, maybe low 60s here where I'm at. I'm in zone 9A here in Japan. So it's not too bad. Nice little spring temperatures, but definitely want it to be a little bit warmer in this greenhouse because, like I say, the warm air and the humidity that it ends up building up in this little greenhouse will help those to germinate faster. It'll help them to grow faster. It'll help them to have a really good head start on life and growth. Anybody can grow their own garden. Anybody can start their own seedlings. I don't have space for all these right at the moment, but you know what? I'm going to go ahead and get these things started and figure out the rest later. Guys, thank you for joining me today. Spread a little kindness and encourage one another. If you like this video, please hit that like button and subscribe. And until next time, we hope you find your slice of heaven too.